Morio wagwan wagwan, Morio wagwan wagwan. Still high tuna chase big crown, still high tuna chase big crown. Morio wagwan wagwan, Morio wagwan wagwan. Still high tuna chase big crown, still high tuna chase big crown.
Yes, thank you once again. I hope you're having a lovely time wherever you are. This is Jakablaq. The big man must have the big head and everything biggest. So today is a very significant day because today we are going to address very, very significant issues. Issues that touches around community, issues that touches around social stability, peace, and coherent among our people. And it's very important for us to know here that Abraham, I stand for the right of women. I'm a feminist. I believe that women deserve better. But it cannot be that when a man has a good car, it attracts more ladies to him. But when a lady has a good car, it repels guys away from her. That is the world we live in. A teenage boy impregnates his teenage girlfriend. The girl drops out of school. You see? The boy continues with his education. That is the world we live in. A guy catches his girlfriend with another guy. He fights his girlfriend. A lady catches her guy with another lady. She fights the other lady. That's the world we live in. The older a man becomes, the higher the number of ladies available for him. The older a lady becomes, the fewer the number of guys available for her. Well, that is the world we are living in. A 76-year-old man can still marry a 26-year-old woman. Okay? A 36-year-old lady. Well, many people is stuck too old to get married. People are stereotyping women. A man divorces his wife today and the next day he's dating other ladies. 6 months later he's married. Okay? While the divorced woman is labeled as a divorcee and remains single 6 years later. Well, this is the world we live in. A man loses his wife to death and remarries a year after. A year later, he remarries. People are being praised. He's being praised. He did the right thing. He's being praised and congratulated for moving on. After all, the life is for the living. A woman loses her husband to death and remarries after 4 years. People are saying that's so early. Are you sure she wasn't sleeping with the man even when her husband was still alive? That was why she killed her husband. You see how people are stereotyping women. Okay? A married man is caught in the bed. Okay? Yeah. People are being caught. When a married man is caught in bed with another woman, you see, his wife is asked to forgive him and move on. But yeah, Msame too. You know, he's the man of the house. He's your man. There's nowhere you can go. You see, people are trying to compromise you to tolerate mediocrity. Okay? Forgive her. Okay? But a married woman is caught in bed with another man, where the husband is asked to leave. The husband asks her to leave. Well, his house. Toka kwa nyumba yangu. Okay? Toka kwa nyumba yangu. Well, this is the world we live in. When the woman gets transferred to another state or another county, another division, another work jurisdiction, she goes alone and resigns from the job. Okay? Why? Because her family and husband is more important than her job. Okay? But if a man rises to be the CEO of the company, okay, the entire family, when a man has been transferred, the entire family relocates with him. Okay? That is that is actually the world we live in, my people. Well, if a man rises to be the CEO of the company, he got there by hard work and his determination and his not giving up, his commitment. But if a woman rises to be the CEO of the same company with the same environment, do you know what they are saying? even if the staffs are only women in that company, even if all the staffs are only women in that company, she is suspected to have gotten there by sleeping with the board members. Imagine that is how women are being stereotyped. So, as I come to really the end of that stereotyping women, is something that we must call out. When a lady has got a job, don't always think that she must sleep with the board members or the bosses for her to get the job. She can be qualified. She can have the competence, the zest, the determination, the passion, okay, the qualification, the soft skills. But still, people are still stereotyping women. So let us stop stereotyping women. Women deserve better, and that gender rule must be achieved. And we are among those people who believe that women must be empowered. However, women also have a question for you, because the society, you will play a very integral role in shaping the moral decadence, in shaping the destiny of the community. This question I will always ask, that how come, I'm still not understanding, how come when you go to clubs, people who are so many there are women, okay? But how comes again if you go to church, the people who are so many are women? Wako kwa sherehe huku, and again wako heaven. So actually, women should be respected. That is the point, because they are beating men home and away. Anakubit kwa kanisa, amekushinda, anatoa moja kwa kumi. She's very dedicated to the church more than men. Okay? People who run churches nowadays are women, and that is what we must celebrate. And people who support businesses, be it entertainment businesses, people who support artists like us, like Jakablaq, mostly are women, because women really are shaping community. That is why we shall continue to give precedence and uphold gestures, activities that are very deliberate, that are very intentional, you see, in uplifting the welfare of young people, more so the young women. And this is something that I always say. Third, because I'm also an environmentalist, people are struggling with climate change. Talk about the change in the climate, in the climatology of the environment per se. But I've always wondered, how can we plant more trees very fast? Okay? And I was thinking of this thing called the Green Condolences Movement. A green Condolences Movement, actually, because the truth be said, people are watu wanakufa. Life is very short. People are dying. Some are dying of sickness. Some are dying of anger. Some are dying of suicide. The issue of mental health are there. So people die. Nowadays, pia kujua which one is the authentic, dawa gani ni original, dawa gani ni fake, pia ni ngumu, because all of them zimeandikwa GOK. Now, one thing that we must always ensure is that every funeral, I always propose that I think an MP or an MCA, one of them can take a bill to Parliament and go and say that, hey, for every funeral, if you're going to bury your loved ones, in that funeral budget, you must put the budget of planting trees during that ceremony. Na mtu yote ambaye anakuja kwa matanga na pandi miti, huyo mtu anafaa kushikwa. Okay? Nowadays, it should be an illegality going to funeral without cutting a tree. So let us start embracing the culture of going to pay our last respect to our departed souls with something of a tree, so that when the trees germinates and grows and is being taken care of, it can also signify the growth of the late. Maybe his legacy shall continue, a symbolism of continuity. So that is something that we must embrace. So we need MPs. We need a law that is going to tap in even in our lowest moments, the funerals. We also want the tree ceremony to be compulsory during the center of arrangement, during any public gathering, be it wedding. But mostly I was focused on funeral, because funeral brings people together. It brings people from all walks of life. So that ceremony, the assistant chief must be given the law that that family must show the area leadership where the budget that they are allocated for planting trees, because that is a culture that we must say. And climate change is real, my people, and we just have to find ways, innovative ways of curbing these issues that will come later. Lastly, issue of mental health is also a very, very big challenge, mostly to young people. Sometimes I always feel like the education system did a lot of disservice to young people, because I always felt like there was no topic that was talking about just a certain subject dedicated to issues of mental health. Because that is why you realize that when issues of mental health come, maybe in the minds of young people, most of them don't understand that state explicitly, and most of them don't know how to respond to those triggers of that condition. And this is why we've been telling our leaders at the highest offices that hey, issues of mental health plays an integral role in the development of our country. That is why we are even telling the president and the state that we will have achieved nothing. And let me repeat that, and I'm lowering my voice on that. We will have achieved nothing if we have failed at family. When as a country we have failed at family, we have failed to preserve that moral, we have failed to preserve that value, we have failed to bring up children who are going to be of good morals. If we have failed at family, there's nothing we have achieved. So whether we will build good roads infrastructure, whether we will build good hospitals, whether we will be building schools, which is a good thing, churches, but if we have failed at family, there's nothing we have achieved as a country. And why am I saying that? Because the political culture of a nation influences the behavior patterns of high young people. And that is why John F. Kennedy once said, and I quote, that a society will never realize her full potential without young people being on the forefront. Okay? Yeah. Kenya cannot achieve its full potential without young people being on the forefront. Because when I look at the future, I don't see William Ruto. When I look at the future, I don't see Rigathi Gachagua. When I look at the future, I don't see these politicians. When I look at the future, I only see young people. Because young people are the future. Okay? So leaders must understand that Kenya is at a very significant point in the history. Okay? Why? Because Kenya, through our struggles, our leadership, our cycle of leadership, the country, we have given ourselves an opportunity that has been brought by the people of Kenya. When the late President Mwai Kibaki introduced a free, in fact, I always say that the leader who has betrayed politicians, the leader who betrayed politicians, who betrayed politicians, was not even Raila Odinga. Jacob was not even Baba. The person who betrayed Kenyans, who betrayed not even Kenyans, who betrayed the political class was President Mwai Kibaki. And why am I saying this? How did he betray the political class? When he put education to be free, primary, free, secondary. To mean, President Kibaki put light in the minds of young people. You see light when the education, when it's like when you get inside a dark room and you switch on the light, how the room will be illuminated and very shining. That is what education does to your mind when you give a child education. So President Mwai Kibaki gave young people an opportunity kwenda kujua and learn how the world operates, to go and know the outside world knowledge. So now those young people who Kibaki who went through the free education were really exposed in terms of knowledge, in terms of education. So right now, the young people are burning with the talents and ideas. The young people are struggling to the country to understand them. They want to be given an opportunity to contribute immensely to the development and the welfare, the issues of Kenyans. So Kenya right now is at a very significant state. And how the government will make use of the talent, the passion, the energy of the young people now will take Kenya to the next level. That is why when we call for good governance, we know that the future will only achieve the Singapore dream that I hear they talk about if only we are very deliberate, we are very intentional, and we must integrate young people to the system of this country. Because sisi ndo tunaelewa IT, sisi ndo tunaelewa science, sisi ndo tunaelewa medicine, sisi ndo tunaelewa engineering. It is the young people, those great brains you see there, those good ideas you see even being, those are the minds of young people. Them, they are just the custodians of those ideas, but ideas comes from the young people. Vijana pale kwa grassroots. So we are telling leaders that, please, you people, we have an opportunity. You have an educated young people, you have a brilliant young people, you have a visionary young people, you have a step-measured, a proactive young people, diligent, committed, passionate. So how are you going to use those power, those opportunity to transform those young people? You see? And right now more than ever, I have to say this, that today, more than ever, the young people of the Republic of Kenya have woken up to the full realization that their future, without a concrete plan, without them being involved, their future is not certain. The young people are fully coming to terms that the future belongs to them, and them must come out, them must go to public participation and express their project, highlight the things they want to be done. They realize that them must go out and register voters. Vijana wakue kadi, tuko kadi, watu wachukue kura. People should register voters so that we go and make that change that we wish and envision to have as a country. Because that is where the future lies, and that is where the direction that we need to go. So we are also calling upon our mothers, our fathers, and our fellow young people that this election that we are going in 2027, hii election ambayo tunaenda, okay, and I must emphasize this, ukienda kwa ballot, the rule is don't pass a young person in that ballot, hata kama chama yake haujui, hata kama yeye yako kupea handout, hata kama ana pesa, hata kama poster yake, hata picha si quality. So long as ni mtu kijana na youth for youth, let us support them. When they have good ideas, when they have visionary plans, concrete plans, blueprints on how they want to transform their area and their people, let us always give them an opportunity. Because young people the truth is, in terms of finance, we still have a long way to go. Because young people like us, we have those brilliant ideas. But tomorrow when we present ourselves, people will want us to give them handouts. Wanasema bana, we Jakablaq, we unataka kuwa governor na we hata utowi, okay? So we are being hypnotized to start grading people based on their giving handouts. And that is not progressive. Actually, that is retrogressive, because it is taking us backwards. We are trying to vote on leaders based on their plans, okay? Based on their blueprint that they bring on board, based on their character. In fact, leadership is 90% character. 10% is just policy and idea and all that. Okay? That is why it is also very important. Hata kama mtu akona manifesto tamu aje. Always, please, always never forget to check the character of that leader. Because leadership is always and will forever remain character. Okay? To continue, you see, these things we must really tell our young people. You see, we must tell them. You see, we must tell them, and we'll call out these leaders. We'll call them out. You understand? Yeah. And one thing that we must know, that right now there are a lot of political factions building up. The question is, do we want to be stagnant or do we want to make progress? Yes. That is the question that we must, and one thing that we must tell single mothers. Please, single mothers, this one must go to you. You must hear this. I know I might be putting salt in the wound. I know najua ntawakwaza sana. I'll go overboard, okay? But allow me, because sometimes society must be developed through those harsh and maybe radical words, if you can term them. The truth of the matter is, single mothers must give baby daddies an opportunity to also contribute to the development of this child. Remember, there are some softwares a woman cannot instill in a boy or in a man. There are some softwares that it is only a man who can instill in a boy. Okay? So a boy who was not, and that's why we are saying, even if you had differences with that your man, but you did not have differences with your kid, because your kid is your blood and is your investment. Please, single women, if you have opportunity, kama uko na uncle, kama uko na brother, kama uko na maybe your father, please take your children during holidays, peleka watoto kwa a man figure. Peleka wao kwa baba yako, peleka wao. If you have a good brother nowadays, pia dunia si mzuri. You see people, you can't trust people. Of course, you can't trust your fellow human being. But of course, we have family. Okay, we have a responsible family that we always must have people that we trust. Let them nurture these kids. Women, let us not to see chukua watoto sana in an aspect that we even forget their social development. Okay? No matter how much a single mother will raise kids, but this masculine thought, actually, a single mother can't raise a boy to be a man. That is me. It is only very few women who can do that, and we celebrate them. And how can a single mother raise a boy to be a man? By instilling discipline. Okay? Yeah, women must now stop disciplining their kids with emotions and with a lot of love. Nyinyi ndo mnaharibu society. Yes, I know that might not be popular. Nyinyi ndo mnaharibu society. Allow the kids to also go and learn some things kwa a man, your father, your uncle, your brother. Because there are some softwares that a woman cannot instill in a boy. It's just like installing a WhatsApp app, or maybe installing Facebook app. Simu yako kama ina memory, you can't install that application. So that application, in that aspect, can only be installed by a man. And a man, it doesn't have to be the father of the kid. Any person who is responsible, and a man, your father, your uncle, chukua watoto peleka hao. There are some skills that is only men who will teach them. You can't teach them because you are not a man. Man, when we discipline, we don't discipline. Yes, when we love it so much, we discipline it so that tomorrow it can have a good future, it can have a good start. Okay? And also women, I know this one is also unpopular, maybe to our single mothers, that if you had a disagreement with the man and the man still insists that he want to support the kid, don't let your differences, okay, preclude you from allowing the man to also chip in. Kesho kama uko, this kid will remain to ule jamaa. Okay? So allow them also, the men, because men have been telling me that Abraham bana, these women bana hawataki tuone watoto wetu, please. And you might think that you are blocking the kids from accessing the father. Tomorrow kesho mtoto atakushikia sana. In fact, he will hold that on you, that ulinikataza nijue baba yangu. So it's very important that we also say that I think men are crying and boys are crying that women should be told this. Okay? Wacheni ukana watoto sana, pelekeni watoto pia watembelee father figure people, wapeleke watembelee men. Your uncle, wafunzwe hata kulima. Wafunzwe hata kuchunga ng'ombe. Okay? Wafunzwe hata for milking a cow. Those are the skills that a woman can't teach a boy. Yo. Yes, take them, peleka hao kwa nyumbani, wale maanko zako ushago huko. Ajue hata kuleta maji na ponda. Sometimes they have to learn the survival tricks. And who will teach survival tricks? A woman can't teach. Okay, very few. Some do. Musini crucify. I know there's some number who does, but it is not the majority. Majority are men. Men know how to build survival. Men know how to instill that software that is going to help the kid in the coming future. Okay? You realize that? So that is something that we must also teach them. And when you're growing the kids, you must also, single mothers, you must teach your kids how to manage mental health. Yes. You must be sensitive enough. Mtoto kama kona stress, just find ways of teaching him or her at a younger age on how to manage mental health. Kesho, when she's alone or he's alone, he can be able to maybe sharing if he's going through something. Yeah, because everybody, they always say everybody's always going through something. And that something is now what we don't know. Labda mtu alikuacha, labda walikula fare yako. Kama okay, kuna wanaume mazee wanalia hapa nje mafare zinakula bro, lakini msi give up majamaa. And but those ladies ambao wanakula fare za wanaume. You know, actually men are cursing you people. I'm doing it to the feeling of the moment. You know, when you get these things, you must speak them. Imagine a man has told that, hey, come and visit me. Hey, umesema, let me come. You know, sometimes mwanaume, labda, life is very hard out here. Labda hata mwanaume hajajipanga, labda hata ana bed. Yeah, it happens. Mtu ana bed, labda ana, okay. People live differently, okay? Labda ameomba hizo stuff, you see, men will understand this. Alafu msichana mpaka na sacrifice, ameomba mpaka gas, ameomba mpaka masufuria, alafu wewe anakutumia fare, alafu unakula, alafu kisha kula unabonga shit juu. Yeah. Maze. Wengine wenu munaoka sana bwana, munaoka muno, lakini musioka sana. Kawenago mamu focus tu kidogo. You see, men also go through a lot. Unapata mwanaume ana struggle bana, enda pale juu kali. Unapata people really mtu kukutumia hata hiyo 100 bob, atitumie ko so hiyo so kukutumia. Always know that a man has sacrificed, because a man was built, and by the way, men were just, it was responsibility of a man to take care of you. So when you take care of you, don't act as if now you are smart. Okay? That when a man has amekutumia do atasa unasema ati nakula ati ule nakula tu. No, don't think men are also stupid in that aspect. Yeah. Then I said labda mwanaume kutumia pesa na alafu nambongeza shit. Don't think they are stupid. They are just born with leadership. Okay? That is why, okay, we'll discuss about that next time. Yeah, so it is very important, and I'm very happy. You know, music industry, I'm very happy that right now Kenyans have now started to appreciate their local talent and their local music. And I was very happy when I was going through the global watched songs in Africa. I realized that Kenyans nowadays watch the artists more than they watch the you say wale wasanii wa kutoka Maju. Okay? They watch their own, and that is really a good start for artists. So what we do is that Kenya has projected a very good market for artists. So the creative industry must also realize that there's a free market called the digital space. Saizi hakuna mtu yuko TikTok, hakuna mtu yuko Facebook, hakuna mtu yuko WhatsApp. So let us tap into these opportunities, okay? And we must accept that wale also the music promoters, wacheni pia kuprefer wasanii ambao have made it already. Always find ways of blending those who have made it, the big names plus the upcoming. There's a way you must also mentor other artists. Is equity, somebody is coming to host a show in your area, and 99% it comes with outsiders. Okay? So there are some things that we are now not going to allow, actually. That if you want to blend artists, ensure that you're also sensitive about regional balance. Let the artists of that area also feel the benefit of that maybe concert forum being there next to them. In terms of we support them, we also give them a platform to maybe express their talents. Maybe, you see, they talk about them. Okay? Yeah, and the government must also support artists. Hii mambo ya kupewa copyright, I don't know, wasanii, unapata msanii anatumiwa 2,000. Sasa unashangaa 2,000. Akitoa na ile ya kutoa sembaki na 19 something. Okay? I've heard artists crying, but a very big artist that most of us live up to. Kama wao ndo wanalia huko juu. Sasa rada ni gani wa jamaa? You hear very big artists who have been established, artists who have been in the industry for decades and years, ndio wanalia ile royalty ya 2,000. Sasa rada ni gani wa jamaa? You see? Yeah, and we must ask these questions, huh? Yes, we must ask them. And that is why today, Abraham, if you have not checked Onagi, end up on YouTube, you check on Onagi, Jakablaq. Go and stream the video. We like, we subscribe, we share. Because We are Kenyans, we are Onagis, and we are the most onagged. And we believe that in the next 2 years, in the next kidogo tu, you'll start listening. Mutaanza kutuweka kwa hizo vitu zenu hizo. It's just a matter of time. Yeah. We're just patient with you people. We are coming. Wabiro. Jakablaq Onagi, wabiro. And we want to tell vijana pia. Young people must realize that when God was creating man, there's something that God gave man for survival. And that thing is called talent. God gave you talent so that you can survive at the hardest time in history. You can use your talent to turn it to employment. Okay? So vijana, don't focus so much and forget who you are. You are not a human doing. You are a human being. Okay? What you do should not dictate to you. Okay? You are a human being. Being precedes doing. You are a human being. You exist. You shall exist. You are not a human doing. So let us not appear to say focus kwa a lot of politics all the time. No. Let us also try to because life and society must be built from different angles. From political side, from social world, from economic angle, okay, from also social economic angle. So we cannot also only focus on politics alone. You can't live politically. Yes, you can't drink politics. You eat politics. You can't live politically. You cannot live socially because human beings are social beings. Yeah, so go and check out the video. Remember, this is the Highrise show, the fastest growing podcast in Eastern and Central Africa, Limpopo. So ensure that you check out some of our videos on the same channel. Subscribe, maze. Ambia wajama huko inje, ambia Mbogi bana, Mbogi ambia hao tuko na channel yetu. Ambia hao the Highrise show iko area, hapa we've been hosting artists and we'll continue to kuna artists mabazeng wanakaa manze. So just keep it here tuned. Because the big artists that are coming is Jakablaq, the big man, must have always the big head and everything biggest.